Hi everyone. Everyone, this is Patience God's Will, simply a woman. And if you're watching me for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. And to my old subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Today is story time. I decided to come share a story with you. It's a wonderful story. Today, when I look at my life, where I am today, educationally, I know that it can only be God. So, backdated to some years ago, when I was still a little girl, I had dreams. Even though those dreams were not defined, those dreams were not really, I didn't really understand, but I know that when I was growing up as a young girl, I loved to read, I loved to write, I love to read novels, I love to read magazines and all of that creative writing. I love to watch movies. I love to listen to stories, but I didn't really understand what my life was all about. I didn't understand my purpose. So I finished my primary school. At that time I was living with my elder sister, Auntie Keziah. When she got married, she took me as, I did flower girl for her, and then I was living with her. So there were so many things, within that period that I will not take your time. I will not explain all of that, but something happened and I had to go back to my parents at JSS 2. I went back to staying with my parents, and by the time I graduated from JSS 3, I was one of the top 3 best students of that school. It's a community secondary school in Kanke local government, Kalashi. So those of you that are from Plateau State watching me and you're from Plateau State, you would know, those names and those regions. So we're the best top 3, 2 males and myself. So normally the tradition in that school is that you will be sent to, the thing is, the place is so hot. Jalingo is beginning to be hot. You know that within this period in Jalingo, from February, March, April, this is mini hellfire. It's normally hot. So sorry for that break. Sorry for that interruption. So we're the top 3 best students, and the tradition for that school is that we'll be sent to a science school. Normally it's science school Wase or science school Lafia. So for my set, we were sent to science school Wase at that time, and everyone was happy for me. My family were excited, my parents were excited. They bought everything that I needed, and I went to science school Wase. Now, I was not properly guided. I was not counseled. At that time, we don't have much counselors. We don't have school counselors that will counsel you to say, oh, what do you want to do? Or what subjects do you like? So that they can properly guide you to which class you should be. And fortunately, at that school, at that time, they have different departments. They have the arts class, the science class, and the commercial class. So we got there, and classes began. And of course, I'm a science student. I will always go to the science lab, chemistry lab, physics lab, and will always be there. But I discovered I had no interest in chemistry. I had no interest in physics. I had no interest in all the science-related subjects. So when I'm going to the science class or the science lab, chemistry lab or physics lab, I'll always carry my novel. I'll carry my magazine, and I'll go sit down, and while classes is going on, I'll be reading my novel or reading magazine. The only class I enjoyed at that time was the literature class, because literature was a general subject at that time. It's been done across all the classes. So that's the only subject I enjoy. Apart from that, any other thing, they are on their own. I was just doing what I liked doing. So when we got to SS2 and it was time to register for WAEC, I suddenly realized that I cannot register chemistry and physics. It just dawned on me suddenly that I am not a science student. It dawned on me that I will not want to go medical. I would not like want to go study anything medically related. So I went to the dean of study at that time, dean of study of my school, and I explained my predicament. I said, sir, this is my situation. I wouldn't want to register for science subject. I would like to do art. And that man blatantly refused. He said, no, you've been in the science class, so you cannot register for art subject. So it became a big problem. I pleaded, he refused. So that was how I went ahead. I just handpicked subject because the subjects that I'll be registering for needed to be 9. So I just picked economics, government. No, I picked economics, agric, biology, geography. I just picked randomly, and they were 9, bam, and I registered. So that was how, when the result came out, it was a disaster. I had just 3 subjects. I think I had just literature, English, and CRS. So of course there was nothing I could do with that result. My parents were not happy. Everyone was surprised. So, but I knew what happened. So when I came back to Jos, I came back to my elder sister's place, Auntie Kezia. The husband was kind enough to register me again. I really appreciate all his effort at this point. I appreciate, when I look back at all the things, the sacrifices, all the things he has done for me, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you, sir. A big shout out to you, sir, Mr. Fawe Kura. Thank you so much. And at this point, I really appreciate him. So he went ahead to register for another WAEC for me, and I began extra moral classes, and I was doing, guess what? The result came out. 3 papers again, the same papers I had in the first WAEC. I had English, literature, and CRS. So they had to register for me again, like 3rd time. They registered another WAEC for me the 3rd time. But while I was doing extramural classes to write this WAEC, one day he came back with a form for School of Health, Panshin, and that he bought for me. I told them, no, I'm not going to School of Health. So my elder sister pleaded with me. Everyone pleaded with me. In fact, she had to convince me. She told me that no knowledge is a waste, that I should just go to that school. By the time I finish, I can go ahead to the university and study whatever I want to study. So I was convinced, and I went. I went to School of Health, Panshin, and we started. I think at the end, the long and short of it is that at the end of the 1st semester, I packed my bags and baggages and I headed back home. I came back home. Everyone was shocked. To everyone's amazement, they were asking what happened. In fact, my elder sisters gathered together and sat me down and asked me, am I pregnant? I told them no. They were asking me whether I was pregnant. I told them no, I'm not pregnant. They insisted. What happened? I told them no, I don't want to do anything medical line. I don't want it. At this point, I was fully aware what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to go either study English or study mass communication or study literature. At this point, I knew that I would study nothing but arts-related courses. So that was how my father, in the village at that time, he was so angry. He was so mad at me, and he just came out to say that he would never have anything to do with me as far as school is concerned again. His hands is off me. That anything school, I should just count him out. So, within that period, when I finished secondary school, actually, I got born again. So I became a church girl. I was committed to church. I was always going to church. I was in church. So when this happened, I came out to say, well, I'm going to Bible school. So that was how I got a scholarship to go to Bible school. In fact, this is like a story on its own, because that was where I met my husband, but it's a story on its own. We'll talk about that another time. Then I got married. And but the desire to go to school was still there. That burning desire, like I was just, my life became like I was full of regrets. I didn't really know what to do at that point. But my husband saw that, I was passionate about school. So an opportunity came for me to register NACO for free. And then we paid for the WAEC. We sourced for money, paid for the WAEC. Because when I got married at that time, there was no money. Everything was so dry. There was no money. But we sourced for money, and I was able to register for WAEC and NECO. Those of us within Nigeria, you know these things. We register for NECO. NECO is the examination within Nigeria, and WAEC is within all the African countries. So we registered, and my result, the WAEC was not that good. I had about 7 papers, but I wasn't having mathematics. But when the NECO came out, the result was superb. The result was beautiful. 9 papers, I cleared everything. And that was how I now sought for admission within my locality. At that time, there was a college of education, Kaduna State College of Education. So I sought for admission, and I went. They gave me English double major. The first time I didn't get the admission, but the second time they gave me English double major. I was one of the best. My departmental project, where you have to write at least one of the genres of literature, I wrote a novel, and it was good. I came out with an A there. My general project for school, the NC, but my general project was an A. My result was generally good. Then I got a job, a teaching job for a few years. I was teaching. Then later, 2015, I went back, to school. My husband helped me. He got admission for me, and I went back to do my B.Ed. And today I'm a graduate. I owe this to 2 people. My dad, Mr. Fawe Kura, because during the NC, before I got the admission, he actually bought the form for me. Because everyone around me, they knew how I desired to go to school. So he bought that form for me. They took the first step, actually. And then my husband, sought for money every semester. It was with serious struggle, but I was able to, I went through that phase of my life. And then my degree, my husband also was very helpful. My brothers, my sisters, my family, everyone, my husband, the chief of them all, he did his best, and I graduated. So this is the story of my life as far as education is concerned. These are the reasons why I didn't graduate, from a university before getting married. I didn't graduate as in my late 20s like others would, or as other mates of mine, or as some of my mates did while they were still young, or very much younger. So what is the lesson today in all the story I've told you? If you're a parent, please always watch your children. See where I've seen children who have become adults, who have become messed up academically because they made the wrong decisions at their tender age. Maybe their parents who are not enlightened, who are not educated, so they couldn't teach them, they couldn't put them through, But the good thing is that in our schools nowadays, we have counselors. We have school counselors who always guide these children. I know of my son, when he got to SS1, normally in that school, they would put them together, interview them, look at their areas of passion, and they will find out the subjects they like, or the subject they did well at in their junior WAEC. So this will guide them to know what. So a child could decide to say, oh, I want to study medicine. But the thing is, when the school look at your record, in your junior classes, were you doing well with your integrated sciences? Were you doing well? So they will always check all of these things to see how they will guide you properly, to what you would want to study or what you want to become in the future. So, but before it even gets to that level, I want to encourage that as parents, always take time, monitor your children, check out their passion, their dreams, things they want to do. Even as little children, you will know whether your child is a science-inclined person or is going to be an art-inclined person. So from that tender age, you begin to guide them, you begin to direct them, you begin to teach them, how, or you even engage them, ask them questions. What will you like to be when you grow up? So the responses that the child will give you will help you to guide the child later in life when they are going to school. I hope you enjoyed my story. My name is Patience Goswill once more, and this is Simply a Woman. If you enjoyed the story I just gave, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, and Tell me other topics you want me to talk about on this channel. This is Simply a Woman. Any topic that is women related, please just write it down in the comment below and come back here and we would always talk about it. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.